感谢大家在今天这样一个夜晚来到红利书院，然后开始我们的第3次的中小学衔接的这样一个家长座谈。然后我们今天家长座谈的主要内容呢是我们的1对1的笔记本电脑项目。我们今天非常有幸能够请来我们的Mr. Sean Moran. Can we give a round of applause?
Hello. How are you?
So for today, Mr. Moran is going to take the lead in introducing how do we facilitate our one-to-one laptop program and supporting our student learning in secondary, and also there will be some of the very tangible information for you moving forward, understanding what are some of the in and outs for next year, purchasing the laptop, and knowing having that laptop, what can we do in terms of the parenting and supporting our child as well. We noted this won't be our first and only session on one-to-one laptop. Our next year, at the beginning of the year, we'll have sessions as well in terms of how do we supporting the family having a response use policy at home, which facilitate the structure to support your child. 我知道今天可能有一些家长可能需要翻译，如果需要翻译的，我们这样好不好？为了第一个让我们的这个座谈呢能够非常的有效，非常的及时，而且能够说更多的内容，比较有效率。如果您听到有一个地方您可能不是特别清楚，希望您呢试一下，我呢就在前面。如果您那地方没有太清楚的话，我呢再帮助您进行一个翻译。您看这样好不好？好吗？So Mr. Moran, if a parent having a little bit of trouble understanding some of the concept or the information, they will give me a cue, and I will do the translation.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't be shy. We don't have a large group tonight, so I think it'll be very easy for us to have an intimate, personal conversation, and with the kind help of LY, if you don't understand something I'm saying, raise your hand, say, I don't understand, and then we'll make sure. I mean, that's at the heart of why we're here tonight, is we want you guys to feel supported and empowered with this process. So with that, let's begin.
Thank you.
All right, so welcome for coming. Thank you. So, as LY said, I'm Sean Moran. I'm the head of educational technology, and my purpose in the school is to support the teachers and the students to use technology to enhance their learning. Because with technology, we can take their knowledge building and their learning much further than traditional practices. So we're going to go through a couple of things tonight. We're going to be looking at the laptop program. We're going to be looking at the start of the year. And I want to build your understanding of what we do with the children so that you can see the progression from primary school into middle school and beyond. Now, this presentation will be made available to you on a website I'll show you later on. It has resources about the laptops and resources for you as parents. So all of this will be shared with you later on. And this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to talk about, just to start, where we begin with the students. And this is what we start with the students. Our primary focus is to develop their skills to be able to organize themselves, to practice good digital habits, call that digital hygiene, to communicate, to protect themselves, to be independent learners, and we also talk about time management and personal responsibility. Now, I'm a father of 3. I've been on this journey, and I've gone through this age transition 3 times. I learned a lot during that lesson and that journey. Our children at this age, grade 5 into grade 6 into grade 7, are undergoing a growth and personality development that is appropriate for 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old children. Unfortunately, it means as parents, we have some challenges ahead of us. And so we'll talk about how to help them with that personal responsibility. Now, let's start with what your children have been doing so far. So in the primary school, we've been talking about different digital citizenship habits, and these are some examples of some of the things that we've been talking about. How to protect their information, privacy, how to do emails appropriately, and how to protect themselves if a website asks for information that's inappropriate or wrong. We do that as well as teaching them skills on how to use computers to support their learning. And when they transition into the middle school, they have IT classes in grade 6, 7, and 8. And this is what we talk about with them over the 3 years. We start off in grade 6 working with the students as laptop owners. Now, they may have already got a laptop. They may already have a computer at home, the personal one. But we start off with them as now owners of a laptop. We talk about these things that are shown on the screen. Then they move into grade 7, and in grade 7 we talk about media literacy. Now, we've been talking about media literacy with the children in the primary school, but now they're older. So we're ready to have a much more sophisticated conversation with them. We talk about the creation of media, how to use media to support their learning, how to communicate, like create a video that is enhancing their the work they're doing, say in science class, where they show an experiment, how they would create a video for that, or they create an audio file where they're doing a reflection. All of the skills that you see on the screen are focused or aligned with things they're doing in their other classes, 6, 7, and 8. And then in grade 8, we look at doing more research, data presentation, how to organize information in a way that supports research papers. And we finish grade 8 with the idea that they're ready as they can be for grade 9, their personal project, and beyond. In the secondary school, in the senior school, grade 9 to 12, they continue to get support, but the support is in their class through teachers like LY, who in the class will have them use the tools that we've prepared them for to continue and further their education. So these are some examples of what we talk about in grade 6. Now, the last one. We begin each year in 6, 7, and 8, returning to the responsible use policy, the RUP. And it's a very important part of the expectations for the children. And every child has an RUP that they signed in the primary school, and each year, or lower primary to upper primary, it became more sophisticated. And in the secondary school, it's very sophisticated. We expect the children to follow principles that are aligned with the school's philosophy. Karbadaicha and the IB Learner Profile. And it's called a responsible use policy because the child has to be responsible for their actions. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Part of growing up and part of learning is screwing up, making mistakes. So the children are going to make mistakes. But then if we return back to the RUP, we can say, well, here's where you made your mistake. Let's learn the lesson and let's move on. It's part of growth. So the children are going to do that. But we return to the RUP each year in 6, 7, and 8 to remind them about it. And there'll be a copy sent home for you. You'll need to sign it as well as your child. That's so that you understand. The reason we want you to sign it is because we want you to see what we expect of your child. And you can use these same principles with your children at home. Now, oops. Okay, so any questions about that part? Now we have other topics that we're going to talk about, but I want to get to one that a lot of people have been thinking about, is how to order the laptops. Now, this is the schedule that we're going to be following for the next several months. Again, this will be shared with you several times. And the deadline for the laptop orders is the end of June. We're going to release the order forms to you the end of May. We don't release them to you now because we're still in negotiation with the company we use to get you the best deal. We always do this up to the last minute because things change, models change in the laptops. But this is the schedule. And then the laptops will be distributed to the students at the start of the year. That's Christmas for the children. Very exciting. If you have a laptop and you are and your child is going to bring a laptop that they already have, that's awesome. That's great. They can bring it. Have them bring it to the day we do the laptop distribution. They'll need to turn the laptop into the IT department to have it configured for the school network and the school resources that we've got. Now, if they do that, they may need to leave the laptop with the IT department for 1 or 2 days, depending on how many laptops the IT department has to process. It can take a little bit of time. So we'll prepare the children, we'll pass that message to them, but just so that you know that if they bring a laptop, it will have to be with the school for a couple of days. At the start of the year, the teachers understand this. It won't disadvantage your children at all.
有没有任何的问题？如果能非常快速的、简单的 ，Can I have a
Please, yeah, absolutely.
第一步呢，其实跟大家讲的很重要的一点就是我们的在学生使用电脑的时候有这样一个他负责使用电脑的这样一个同意，这样一个责任书。然后这个责任书呢，这样的一个撰写，事实上最主要的就是让学生能够很清楚的了解到我们对他的要求是什么样子。不管是他可能在使用的这样的一种要求上，可能在对自己的信息的保护上，和与其他人在这个电脑这样一种虚拟空间的交流上，实际上都有非常强调的这样的一些规章制度在上面。然后另外一点呢，可能需要现在谈到的就是说在电脑如何去订购方面，订购方面的几点，第一点是我们在5月底的时候会跟大家来说我们的这样订购的表格到底是什么样，大家可以进行订购。在学校订购的这个电脑呢，就是我们会已经把这个电脑都进行非常好的这样一个 set up， 大家可能不需要再做 set up。但是如果您是在家里面已经有一个电脑，或者说您希望孩子去用家里面已经有的这个电脑的话，那您呢就可以让孩子在明年8月份刚开学的时候，8月份刚开学的时候，我们明年开学呢和往年可能不太一样，应该是一个星期一，具体的日期我忘记，估计应该是8月14号，如果没记错的话，13号是吧？不好意思，也许我记错了。反正星期一是吧？星期一开始的那天呢，我们是半天，那天我们不会发电脑。发电脑的那天一般来说应该会是我们的第3天，也就是说我们的星期3。所以在前2天的时候，孩子如果已经有那个电脑的话，可以在星期3的时候把电脑拿过来，然后我们可以让 IT 帮孩子来做一下他的网络呀、他的打印机啊等等这样具体的一些内容。谢谢大家。
Okay. And then, as LY said, at the start of the year, we'll come back and we'll meet with you and spend some time with you. In the past, what we found is if we give you guys too much information now and some of the information on how to manage your children, it's a little bit too soon. So we want to make sure that when your children get the laptop, you are prepared instantly. So we will be coming back to you. There we go. So that's the information about if your child already has a laptop. The laptop should be 2 years, no more than 2 years old. If it's 3, 4, 5 years old, it'll be too slow, and the children will have a hard time with it. Now these are the model laptops that we recommend. There are 3 models. 2 of them are the MacBook Pro. The 13-inch size is the correct size for children. Anything smaller than 13 inches is too small. So there's the 13-inch MacBook Pro with Retina screen, and it has a physical touch bar there. The difference between this one and this one is this touch bar. It's a little bit fancier. So this one is a little bit fancier, but it's not. It doesn't offer the children any more advantage. The MacBook Pro, the MacBook Air 13-inch is also a good laptop for the children. Now there's a model called the MacBook, there's the 15-inch MacBook Pro. In middle school, a 15-inch MacBook or a 15-inch laptop of any size is just too big for the children. It doesn't help them in any way unless they have problems with vision. The 13-inch is not recommended. There is one other model that's not on the screen. It's called just MacBook, 13-inch MacBook. If you decide to get the laptop outside of the process I show you, please do not get just the MacBook. It's not powerful enough to last for 3 years or do the work that we need the children to do. And the children use their laptops a lot, so we do need some level of power. Now included in the purchase is the support, 3 years. It comes with the GarageBand and iMovie. It comes with a large enough hard drive, 256 gigabytes. 256 gigabytes is the minimum. Anything larger than that, 512, 512, is good, but nothing less than 256. The smaller size is 128, 128 gigabytes. That's too small. It doesn't have enough space on the hard drive for the type of work that the children will do and use the programs they will use. So if they create a movie, they'll very quickly run out of space on the hard drive. So 256 is the minimum size. The warranty, if you buy it through the school laptop purchase program, comes with 3-year warranty. The 3-year warranty covers accidental damage. So if the laptop, does not cover accidental damage. Wow.
I gotta translate that part.
Yeah. They got that one?
I
think they got that one. It does not cover accidental damage. It covers manufacturer problems. So if the hard drive fails, or if the keyboard stops working, or a part of the computer fails, for no cost, other than maybe labor, it'll be fixed and repaired. But if it is accidental damage, unfortunately it's not covered under this warranty. So we do teach the children how to protect their laptops. So like if water's spilled on the laptop, or it's dropped and kicked accidentally, it's not covered under warranty, unfortunately. So we do encourage the children to put their laptops in the locker when they're not using them. We encourage the children to be very careful with their laptops and have a backpack that is a good backpack for them to carry their laptop. Additionally, we recommend that you get yourself a good backpack. Now, a good backpack has a sleeve in there for the laptop to sit in there safely, so that if you have other things in there, the laptop doesn't get banged around. It holds the laptop nicely. That's a good one to have. That one is probably the most important of the things you see on the screen right now. A case, a cover, protective cover for your laptop is also a really good idea. These laptops are carried around and used a lot. And we'll come back to that, how it's used in a little bit. But, you know, when you're walking along, even you and I, when we walk by, we'll bump into something, we'll knock into the door. That's normal wear and tear. And my laptop has a few scratches and scrapes on there from it, from being wear. I usually have a case on mine. I won't go into why I don't have it at the moment, but normally I do have a case on my laptop. An external hard drive is not necessary, but it's a good idea. And that's to back up a laptop. In a little bit, I'll talk about another way to back up your child's laptop that I think is better. But if anything ever happens to the laptop, it's lost or damaged. You don't want to lose your children's work. Now, the good news is a lot of the work that we do with the children is saved into the cloud. So there's a lot of it is backed up automatically, but not everything is. This one here is a USB-C to USB adapter. And this one is important. With the new model laptops, with these laptops, the computer industry is changing from a USB connector. Now you're familiar with the USB connector. It's square, and magically, when you put it in, you have to turn it over. You put it in the wrong way, you turn it over, you put it in. It always seems to be, it takes 3 times to get it in there the right way. I don't know why. You know, it's only can go in one way. They've changed the USB connector from the square one to this oval. It's called the USB-C. Now this is new, and some of the equipment that we use with the students is still USB, the old type USB. So if they're using the sensors in their science class, and they need to connect up a thermometer to their laptop so that they can read data, they need to have an adapter so that the sensor will work with their laptop. And my presentation tool is an old one, so I have to have an adapter. Which, yeah, you can't really see, but I have to have an adapter as well. So over the next couple of years, while the world goes through this transition, this tool is a very, very important one. If your children don't already have one, is there any questions so far?
Question for my daughter. She's really looking forward to that talk. For the cover, the case, she asked whether she can see the game color, or does the school have a policy on the color or grade? So it's come with the cover.
No.
We just can buy it by ourselves.
You can buy it by yourself, and I strongly urge, I recommend strongly that the children choose something that they like, because all the laptops look alike.
Yeah.
You know, so putting something in, it personalizes it, and when you personalize something, you make it yours. So it's a very good idea, and they can use any one they want. Yes?
So for grade 6, the chance to lose the computer, what was the percentage?
I'll come back to that one. That's one that we're going to address that one after we get through some of the technical things, and we open up the discussion between us about this.
有没有需要中文翻译？
Can I have a question about replacement cycle? I do notice that here it's 3-year warranties. I wonder if for older kids, like between 5, 6, and what's the average life of their laptop?
The average life of a laptop is 3 years. If you take good care of the laptop, it can last 4 years. But the average life of a laptop is 3 years. That's the average life globally. There's a couple of reasons why it ends up being about 3 years on average. Each year, new software gets updated. It requires more power in the computer to function and operate. And software that is going to be available to us 3 years from now or 4 years from now will start to run slowly on the computers we have today. I have had laptops last 4 years, and it's been good. So if it's taken care of well, it can last 4 years. But the average is 3 years.
So when they are in grade 9, is it a school purchase program again, or you know, after you whatever you want to buy?
It is the program, the school purchase program is available to all family members in the school, including primary school students. And it is to the senior secondary school students. They can buy it through the program again. And the purchase can be done year-round, anytime, through the link that I'll provide you. And it is, at that point in time, maybe, if they're really interested in media, you know, that's a good time for a child to maybe have a 15-inch MacBook if they go into media and design. If they don't, then, like if I had a grade 9 student right now or a grade 10 student and I was replacing their laptops, these model laptops are just as good. They're the right choice for a senior secondary student. And just one other detail on that one. For after the middle school, the students have a little bit more freedom to choose. So if they decide they would really rather a Windows computer or even a Linux computer, that's okay. At that age, they're sophisticated enough to be able to support themselves and manage their needs. So if they really want to buy something else that's not Apple, go for it. Any other questions? And if you have them, please ask them. Apple Store account. It is essential that your child has an Apple Store account. Now, we'll talk to Wade in a moment of how to manage it, but the reason it's important is because through the Apple system, they get updates through the Apple Store. And the updates are very important. They can be updates to the operating system and the security patches to protect their laptop from bad software. And that's important. Additionally, there are some free software that would be useful for your children to be able to download and install. And it's best to do it through the App Store because the App Store will give them updates for that software when they need it. Everything from like a Kindle reader to Adobe PDF reader can be done through the App Store. And yes, if there's something that they want to buy that costs money, it's better to do it through the App Store than it is to do it through a website. Now the good news is that you can set up family sharing. And there's, in the back, there's some, I've given you guys this. It's got a QR code on there, and it's in each language available for you with the instructions on how to set up the family sharing. Now, this started a few years ago. I absolutely love this. I have a son, 15-year-old son, and my entire family is set up with this, but it's my son that this happens with the most. Whenever he wants something, I get the alert, and I say yes or no. On everything. Free, or if it costs money, I say yes or no. And my son's a good boy, so I can generally say yes to him, but I can have conversations with him about what he's getting. So, well, why do you need that? What are you going to do with that? You know, and it's an important part of being a parent that you have that conversation with them. So if you set up the family sharing, you'll be able to manage their purchases and have those conversations with them. it does require that you have an Apple account as well. If you don't have an iPhone, or you don't have a MacBook, or you don't have an iPad, that's okay. You don't need to have those devices to set up an account for yourself. I recommend that you set up the relationship between your account and your child, or your children. Okay? And this page is available for you in the back. You can take that one home. And then just scan it with your camera, and it'll take you to the page with the instructions.
到目前为止需不需要我来再介绍一下？有没有需要？我这样好吗？简单的来总结一下。前面可能Mr. Moran 可能说了几点，第一点可能是我们电脑的型号，这一点可能挺重要的，就是说什么样的型号的电脑对于我们6年级的孩子，特别是初中生来说是比较适合的。他给了大家一些介绍，特别是13英寸的这样一些电脑。另外一个呢，他提到了在学校去购买电脑的话呢，我们学校会在我们的这个供应商那里，他会给我们3年的一个质保，但是这个质保呢不涉及任何的意外险，好像更多的涉及的呢是它的硬件或者在使用过程当中，因为它的这个硬件的问题可能出现了一些损坏啊或者其他的一些问题，我们可以到相应的部门去进行维修。另外一点呢，他可能提到的是在这个过程当中。我们肯定要了解的是一些其他的配件，比如说一个很好的电脑包，一个这个USB 的一个转换器，包括它可能需要有，比如说因为作为年级里面工作，我们经常会可能刚才有家长也提到孩子会不会丢电脑？我们有的时候会看到这个电脑遗失的时候，如果看到千人一面都是一个电脑的话，其实也会有难度。难度不会太大，我们打开电脑就能看到那个人的名字是谁。但是最好为了让孩子不拿混，应该有一个更好的一个明显的标志，能够说出这个，或者能够让人知道这是我自己的一个电脑，和别人电脑不一样，其他孩子肯定不会拿错。此外呢，还有一些像我们的外部的这样一些存储设备，其实呢都是希望让孩子不会因为他内在的这个数据的一些，就是电脑上数据的丢失，造成对他学习上面的影响。此外呢，又提到了一个家庭共享的这样一个账户。家庭共享账户很重要的一点呢，事实上是第一个，我们可以了解到孩子需要什么样的软件，而且我们能够在这个他需要的软件上面去告诉他，我们会不会同意他进行所谓的不管是免费的购买，免费的下载还是这个购买。更重要的一点呢是呢，他能够给一个机会和孩子进行这方面的有教育意义的这样一种沟通和交流，能够了解为什么你要这样的一个软件的这样的目的到底是什么。而且刚才Sean 也跟大家 ，Mr. Moran 跟大家也提到了这个刚才给大家看的那个所有的那个 QR code。如果您需要了解如何去设置这样的一个家庭共享的一个账号的话，您可以拿一个这样的一个传单来进行设置。这个不一定您需要一个 iPhone 的或者说是苹果的这样一个设备，你也可以去做这样的一个设置。相信这个设置会对您和孩子之间的这种对于技术方面的、电脑方面的、软件方面的交流，能够给您一个机会，而不会是可能让孩子大撒把。这是挺重要的。对。对。非常好的一个问题。Mr. Moran, I think this is something you can refer to. With the Apple ID, because as an adult, we have linked that into our credit card, we have a password. Mm-hmm. When setting up with a family sharing program, do parents actually need to give that password number, the password to the student, to their children?
You have to give them the password. You have to give them your credit card number, your home number, your passport number.
Yep.
Is that? No, that's the wrong answer.
Oh,
sorry. No. The good news is you don't have to give them any of that. All you so the way it sets up is the child account sets it up. their email address, their password. You set up your account, your password, your credit card, your email address. So the child, they log in and they say, I want Angry Birds. And then you get a message that says, do you approve it? And you say yes or no. And if you say yes, then on their computer or laptop or phone, whatever, it becomes available to them. If you say no, then you can go and have a conversation and say, well, I said no because of this. But you don't need to give them your password. So they don't need to know. But it is important that they have their own password, the password for their own user account. That is very important. For example, today I was working with the grade 8 students and we were doing audio recording. They had to do a reflection piece on a piece of work they did this year. One of the students, we use GarageBand for this. One of the students did not have GarageBand, which is a free program, on their laptop. And so he said, I think my Apple account is this. And he kept trying, and he couldn't remember his password. But if he knew his username and his password, he can get the update or install this program onto his laptop so he can use it. And he couldn't remember. He eventually, luckily, I was happy to say, he eventually remembered what his password was and was able to download and install GarageBand.
所以简单的说，只要是我们成人的一些密码，特别是在这里边，我相信刚才那个 Mr. Moran 已经说的比较清楚了，因为他这样的一个设置，孩子有自己的用户名和密码，我们有自己的用户名和密码，因为他们的我们的这个信用卡是和我们的账户连接在一起的，所以孩子不应该知道我们的，因为如果他们知道我们，他就可以随意的去做任何他想做的事情。另外一个这是另外一点，处理年级工作的时候，有时候也会了解到，有些家长可能把一些比如说学校的电邮的地址给了孩子，或者电邮的那个密码，希望只要是您的密码，不要把那个密码给孩子。不好意思。是。哦，那个非常好，我相信一会儿他可能会提到那个 backup， 如果他没有提到那个所谓的那个保存这个数据，我会提醒他一下，因为我相信他一会儿应该会提到那一点。对，对，这边。
My daughter already has her own Apple ID, which is on her iPad. So for school purpose, do you recommend to set up a new one or just use the current one?
Use the same Apple ID. If they have an Apple ID already, please do not set up a new one for their laptop, because any purchases that they get, anything that you do approve, you make it available to each of the devices. There's another benefit too. So if you have an iPad, which for me, the perfect combination is an iPad and a laptop. And I use the iPad to do my reading on, and I use my laptop for making my notes on. And this is how I work. The nice thing about that is, if I'm reading something on my iPad with my Apple ID on there, and I go to my laptop, it does something called handoff. So it says, you were reading this PDF. Would you like to see it on your laptop? And it's a really powerful tool. It's the kind of computing that we want the world to be, where here I'm reading, but here I want to write. And I maybe need that information from the PDF. So by using one Apple ID, doesn't matter if it's a school email account or a personal email account, you can transfer information off of it. If you don't have one and you're going to set one up, I urge you, my recommendation is that you do not use school ID. Use a personal email account. At some point in their life, they will leave the school, but they may continue using an Apple product, and they shouldn't have to change their Apple ID because they've left the school. So they graduate, they go to university. We don't want them to have to change and lose everything, their accounts and their relationships.
Sorry. 所以在苹果电脑这方面，特别是在它的用户的设置的时候，希望用它的个人的邮箱然后用这样一个方式能够保证它所有的这样一些下载的一些资料，在它以后也能够进一步的去使用。而且是建议我们是不要多建好像很多不同的这样的一个用户只要有一个这样的一个个人用户就可以。
Okay. All right. Now I go back to this one, and the reason I go back to this one is it was so important. And last year it did cause some confusion for parents, so I just, I want to make sure that there's an understanding as to because this is going to be bundled into the cost of the laptop. And this is not us just adding something on casually for fun. This is because this is an essential tool for the children to have in today's world. I mean, even like a USB, I think you were talking about that before, a USB, a memory stick.
Yes, totally. Another thing, sorry. The English part, if the student going to DT, it's going to be a new subject. In DT, they do robotics. Set that robot into different programs that only accept a USB connection. Alright, so this is a crucial piece. 比如说举一个最简单的例子，刚才可能上提到的是这个有关科学学科，是吧？有一些这个不管是温度计其他的，是一个电子仪器需要用 USB。在 DT 的学科里面，像7到8年级的时候，他们应该有一个这个单元是专门学如何去进行这个电脑编程，然后呢让这个机器人能够做相应的一些指令，比如说它可能绕开障碍物，可能会做清扫等等不同的工作。他们在做那个网上的这个程序编写的时候，那个程序要 transfer 就是要传输到这个机器人上面的时候，它必须要使用一个 USB 的这样的一个传输线。所以呢，没有这个的话呢，孩子就会比较怎么说呢？耽误他们的这样的一个学习方面的东西。所以这个呢是一个比较必须的一个东西。
Just wondering for the networking assets, do they have any chance that they have to go to use the network LAN? Because to my understanding, the new MacBook do not have any network LAN.
That is correct. No. They don't need it. We don't. We in today's world, we're at the point where you do not need to connect up to a physical network anymore.
一般他们都会用那个 AirDrop。
Yeah. And so if you do have an old laptop and your USB port looks like this is USB-A, this is the old. If you have a new laptop and your USB port looks like this is oval, you have the new USB-C.
So only the pros, if you have Air, you can use this. It's not including the package.
It is included in the package. Yeah. All laptops going forward have the USB-C. Any other questions? Okay. All right, the order process. So this is the order process. This website, which is going to be available to you through this, the information I'll share with you, including a link that will be sent to you, and is also available to you through PowerSchool on the Parent Resources page. There's a link to the website that has this on there, already there for you. You'd be able to click on this. The company that we work with, Senko Masling, we have been working with for a very long time. I've been working with Senko Masling for 11 years, and they do a very good job. I trust them, and they are a reliable partner for the school, and they do the best that they can to support our students and our community. So there is information for you available through the Parent Resources. When you click on the, when you do log in, or you go to the website to log in, this is what the screen looks like. Now Senko Masling they work with many schools. So what's important is that you click on ISF Academy in the drop-down menu. And if you order through here, you need to create an account. Now, because you're getting an education discount, please use your parent, the ISF parent, email account for authentication. Please don't use a personal email account for the authentication. please use the P123457 at parent.isf.edu account. And that is a confirmation that you qualify for the education discount. There's a lot of benefits to doing that because you can buy things other than just the laptops. You can buy an iMac, you can buy an iPad, you can get the education discount on these, and by using your parent account, you verify your qualification. Please.
非常重要的一点就是，当您在这个Central Massling 的这个网站上在进行设置和订购的时候，希望您一定注意用我们学校您家长的电邮的邮箱去做这个用户的这样的一个登记，谢谢，脑子转过来了，做这个用户的登记。这个登记之后呢，因为它这个作为苹果的用户呢，如果您是为了这个教育方面的来进行购买的话，它有一个折扣。您用这样的一个方式呢，就直接能够认证您是能够享受这个教育折扣的这样的一个用户。而且，如果您希望购买其他的一些电脑设备的话，也可以通过这样的一个方式去进行购买。应该会比较方便，所以一定注意用您的学校的这样的一个网址、家长的信箱的邮件的地址去进行这样的一个登记，它能够帮助您享受教育折扣。
Yeah, and then under the family account that you create with Senko Massling, you qualify as a family to make a purchase each year. You could buy one laptop every year if you want to, or one iMac if you want to, at the education discount. So that's another benefit to it. Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, the password, we can use any new password, right? We don't need to use the same email password.
Sorry about this, but yes, it's another password for you to memorize. Yeah, this is not connected to our school information system. This is managed by Senko Massling. So when you do a new registration, you use your email, an email will be sent to you, and the login confirmation process will go through there. But yeah, it's a different password. Use whatever you want to.
是一个新的用户，所以新的用户的这样的一个信息，所以都是我们的自己的邮件，但是邮件底下的那个密码是我们自己要进行设定，不像我们平时在其他的网站上登录之后，他会给您一个确认的信息、确认的邮件，然后欢迎您，然后怎么样，是这样。是，如果您希望的话，您可以买其他的东西，都能够拿到那个折扣，而且还能有，比如说你每年如果都想购买的话，也能有这样的机会。
There we go. There we go. When you log in, this is the screen you'll see, and you'll choose the option on the left, one-to-one school one-to-one program. Click on there, and then you'll be taken to the site where you can choose the model of the laptop that's available. And you'll see this, the four that we've talked about, including the MacBook 15-inch. We have a small logistics problem that Apple does to us every year. Actually, it's not just Apple. It's all laptop manufacturers. They release new models over the summer. They release it in preparation for university students starting in the fall. Not secondary school students, but university school students. So the problem that we have is it depends on the manufacturer of the laptops when they release this information. If they're nice, they release it in early June. And if they're not, they release it late July, August. So if you go on in May and you buy a laptop, let's say you buy this one, boom, buy it. If Apple updates the product before the laptop is distributed, you will get the updated laptop. If Apple changes the price of the laptop, Senko Massling will contact you and say, there's a small change in the price. And it will be just a small change. We're not talking like thousands and thousands of dollars. It'd just be a small change. One year, we actually even had a refund. And that was because Apple's model stayed roughly the same, and they can make it cheap. They made it cheaper, and so there was a small refund to the families. Most of the time, there is no change. But I need to be very open about this. That this is a possibility that happens. It wouldn't matter who we did this with, because the way in which the laptops are released, the updates. So, just want to be aware of that. So, when you go on here, if you go into the details and you see the CPU is 1.7 or 2.3, and then they make a change, if they haven't distributed the laptops to the school, then you will get that change, and you can contact Senko Massling at any time to find out if there's any changes. If you want to purchase some of the accessories that we've talked about, like the covers and so forth, you go back to the home page and you click on the accessories. And in there's a lot more options available to you. There's other devices, including like the cases and other things available for you. Okay. Yes?
What about Microsoft Suite?
Microsoft Office?
Yeah.
Okay, Office. Oh, that's awesome. That's a great question. All right. The good news is that under the school license, all of your children qualify for Microsoft Office to be on their computer. And Microsoft Office is a requirement. We require your children to have Microsoft Office on their laptop. If you know anything about Apple, Apple comes with Pages, Keynote, and Numbers. They're not very good. They're very, very sexy. Oh, they're so pretty. But they're not universally used. And because they're not universally used, like education resources are not always available and compatible with those. But they are compatible with Microsoft Office. And your children's email account is actually a Microsoft Office account. So they can log into Microsoft Office Live, and they can download and install the software on their laptop. And we recommend, we request, we urge the children to do this themselves. It's a good exercise for them to do. It's an easy process to install. It takes a little bit of time because of the size of the files, but it's a good one for them to do to begin to learn how to install software. It's not complicated. And we do recommend it, and in their IT classes, I check them, I annoy them. Have you got it installed? Not every, it's completely free. Yeah, completely free. And for any of you who have iPads, the Microsoft Office software is free for the iPads as well. And if they log into their account on the iPad with their school account, they can share the information between the iPad and their laptop. So the start of the year, as I said earlier on, is Christmas for the children. So they're getting a new laptop and they're very excited. And we have them come together and we destroy their spirits by talking to them for a very long time about responsibility. And they're like, we want the laptops. No, we're going to talk about responsibility. You guys are going to get a toy or a device and you need to be responsible for it. So at the start of the year, we will distribute them to the children. And it will take a good part of the morning. When they get it, they will have a box that will be at least a laptop and any accessories that you purchase for your children. And I know how this goes. You'll tell your child, I bought you a laptop, I bought you a cover, and I bought you a USB connector. And the child will hear laptop. That's it. So we'll say, okay, what did you get? I got a laptop. Did you get an accessory? I got a laptop. But when they come and they pick up their equipment, we have a list of everything that you bought them, and they will be given that, all the things that you bought for them. And that sheet of paper, we will tell them, bring it home and give it to mom and dad. So when they get their laptop distribution that night, please remind them, say, hey, you should have been given a piece of paper. Can you give that to me? And that will help you know that they got everything that they should have. Because maybe you bought them an additional piece, like you bought them a mouse that they didn't know about. And maybe, in a very unlikely chance that it happens, this normally never happens, an unlikely chance that something is missing, you would know that. So when they come home with their laptop, please ask them for a piece of paper. And we do tell them to take the paper home, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. All right. Any questions about the purchasing and the distribution? So additional support. We know that we need to provide help. So the first stop for our students is the IT department. And it's just down the hallway, on the right, opposite Jesse's kitchen. And if they have any problems with the hardware, they go to the IT department. And under our relationship with Senko Masslink has a technician who works here at the school. So if there's a physical problem with the laptop, Senko Masslink is here and ready to support the child with that problem. If there's a problem connecting up to the Wi-Fi or the printer or something else with the school network, the IT technician, our IT technicians are here and ready to support them. If they have any problems that they can't solve through them, me and my team, the EdTech team, or their IT teachers, is also available to help them. So there's plenty of support for them. And then their teachers have a degree of support, their peers. One of the benefits of the children all having the same platform is that they can help each other. So if I can't do something, I could probably talk to my friend and say, hey dude, I can't do this, and he knows how to do it, he shows me how to do it. So it's a nice support, it's a teaching and learning moment for the children themselves. There you go, there's the link on PowerSchool. And in the link on the PowerSchool, there's information for you as a parent in the laptop program page. I'll show you that page later on. And it has resources for you. The RUP, the Responsible Use Policy. We start the year out with the RUP. The children have to read it, and they have to sign it. They have to bring it home to you. You have to sign it, and then they have to turn it in to me. And I annoy them by making them take a quiz on it, and they have to score 100% on it. They're not allowed to score 99.9%. They score 99.9%, they say to me, I did really well, and I say, go back and do it again. They have to get 100% on there, because we don't want any child saying to us, either of us, I didn't know about that. Sorry, that's not acceptable. We talked to you about it several times. You are responsible for your actions. So we have this RUP. So you'll see this coming home during the start of the school year. And we'll keep track of it and see who's turned them in and not. And if they haven't turned it in, sometimes the paper gets lost. Things happen. We may have to send a reminder out, and we'll include you in that reminder, saying, hey, you haven't turned in a RUP. Please print this off. We'll attach it, and then send it back in. We also have the Unplug to Recharge program. And this is something that we do to help the children manage themselves. So one of the things that the students do when they move into the middle school is they get a laptop, they want to use it. I would too. It's an exciting tool. It's fun. I can do a lot of things on there. But we want them to learn to balance their lives a little bit. So we put some restrictions on them when they first move into the middle school for using their laptops. Now, it's not perfect, but it does generally work, and it works well. What we do with them is we want them in the middle school, in grade 6 especially, we want them learning the new school. We want them coming back from the summer, we want them reconnecting with their friends, We want them learning the middle school. We want them to be engaged with the middle school community. So during the breaks and lunch, they're not allowed to use their laptops. Now, if a student has to print something off for a class that they're going into next, they can go up to a teacher and say, hey, I need to print this off for my class that I'm going to next. And he says, no, tough, too bad. No, he doesn't. He says, yes, okay, go ahead and print it, get it, turn it in, and then put your laptop away. And we do support the children, and we are reasonable with them. We want to show that we're reasonable so that they can reasonably manage themselves. But you can see that through the grade levels, we go from saying no to saying yes. As they grow up and become more mature, we do try to turn over some of the responsibility to themselves, to the children. It's part of growing up. And I go back to something I said very early on about it, almost an hour ago. They are going to screw up. That's okay. It's part of growing up, and we're here to support them with it. There's teachers on campus, always with eyes on them, to help them learn. Please.
If I may,
Yes.
one of the part I would like to bring your attention to is the lunchtime. The lunchtime access is supervised, which means the students can only access their computer in restricted areas, like they cannot use their computer in the canteen for middle school students. Now they finish their block 3 at 12:40, and we'll ask them to very nicely go to their lunch, and they'll go have their lunch. Sometimes the student do choose not to have lunch because the basketball court is too attractive. They want to not instead of having lunch, but go play basketball or football. Some of the students might want to use their computer for either way, either watch something or play or maybe work on it. But this, I think we started this year, right?
Yeah.
This year, what we did is during lunchtime, the student can only access using their computer at 1 o'clock. And they have to finish their lunch first. And they can only use laptop in two classrooms, which is supervised by a teacher. Now this is our way to say, now the whole idea behind this is we'll have structures, we'll have a balanced life. This is the way we promote that. 非常简单跟大家说一下，就是有关这个我们这些计划，不管是我们的负责任的使命也好，还是给学生的这样一些不同的安排也好，这个安排都是希望学生能够非常平衡的、合理的去利用自己的时间。在中午的时候，如果孩子需要使用电脑的话，必须得第一个吃完饭，第二个从1点钟到1点20分钟可以使用电脑。使用电脑的时候，老师是在这个课室里面去关注他们，所以呢，他在这个课室里面是一个被老师关注的这个过程当中，有点像图书馆，是这个样子。
So this lunchtime is time of leisure time. Are they allowed to listen to music or watch YouTube?
Yes, they do.
They're allowed to.
They're allowed to.
So there's no policy on gaming, as long as it's within the restricted time. If you're gaming, you can do social media and game online.
All right, so the question is, there's no restriction on gaming, but it's a wider question about what are the restrictions in the school. We do allow gaming of appropriate level or appropriate types of games. So no first-person shooters, Minecraft is fine. There's some League of Legends is one that's very popular with the children. There's a number of games that are okay. It is not healthy for people, anybody, to just work constantly. You need to have some form of entertainment and release. And so we want, there are some schools, you will have heard of schools who have said zero tolerance to gaming. And what happens, the reality is, the gaming occurs in the closet, it occurs behind the stairs, it doesn't happen in the open. And one of the philosophical approaches that we want to take with the children is we want to have an honest, healthy, open discussion with the children. And if we absolutely categorically ban it, they go higher. And we can't have a healthy conversation with them about balance. Balance is really important. People should not work all the time. They need some form of entertainment. That can be social media, it can be YouTube, It can be a game. What I see so often, and I like this one when I see this, I see, usually it's girls, it's not always girls, they're sitting around and they're together, they're sharing the experience of watching something. Now, somebody could say, that's horrible, they're not engaged. But if you spend a little bit of if you spend the time watching them, they're actually talking to each other. They're laughing together. They're connecting and they're building relationships. And it's a very healthy, powerful thing for the children to do. Did you want to?
If I may jump in, I'll give you some hard data, all right? So for this year, grade 6, we started introducing, look, you can use your computer during lunchtime. The students were very excited, some of them. So I did a research, basically. So I went into this place, which is on B3, on the grade level floor that we mentioned earlier. Teachers will be there. We brief the teacher about, this is your role, your responsibility. I just want to see how many students turn up. I want to make sure that for safety precautions, for 2 classrooms, I cannot have over 60 students in there. If I have over 60 students, that's a safety hazard. All right? So I need to be there and I need to pass some water. First day, there's 18 students. Second day, about the same. The maximum so far has been 30 students, and that's it. Now, with a cohort of 140, nearly 150 students, I think majority of the students are making the other choices in terms of either I want to social, either I want to go on the basketball court. We do see students making different choices. Now, with different choices, we use a word with different consequences. In that classroom, if I'm really looking, there are students really working. There are students, they are gaming. But that's a choice that they make. And that's a choice that they make, and they need to understand the consequence about it. Now, personally, both of us, we don't want to be judgmental on this. I don't want to see my student hiding in the bathroom and playing computer games. And that's going to be, I don't want to, knock on the doors and open up the bathroom. So I think it's really about that meaningful conversation about non-judgmental, but they need to understand the choice that they make. In terms of gaming, this is not a hide and seek kind of battle. But in the classroom, we do promote, gaming is one thing we need to worry about, I guess, in the classroom setting. But another one, I think, Sean and I, we share this understanding is they chat with each other. In the old time, when teachers don't want us to, speaking out of order, we pass notes. But at this time, the students don't have to pass notes. They can just chat, either with a Google Hangout or some other different ways to chat between each other. Now, it's a challenging moment for us to, number one, what are the activities that we're going to run in the classroom? How do we engage students? Now, we promote and we work with our teachers understanding, now, the student working on the laptop, what period of time is recommended? Another part is, how do we monitor different students? How do we give them that opportunity that if they need to social, if there's no social, there's no learning. They need to social. But how do we promote the correct level of social? I think there are lots of different things into it. But I think with, just echo what Sean, Mr. Moran here is saying is a single ban will create issue. But we are banning no gaming, no chatting between classrooms. Sometimes we can chat between classrooms during lesson time. And that is a violation of our response use policy.
It is in there. It says no chatting.
No chat.
Yeah.
But, well, no disruptive. I guess that could be chatting.
And it goes back to, again, okay, are the children going to chat? Yes or no?
Yes.
They will.
Of course. Of course they're going to. And we, as teachers, we will fight that. We will not fight it. That's a bad term. But we will try and manage it.
We'll fight that.
Yeah. And, yes.
What about online bullying?
Okay, online bullying. It's a good question. Okay, so the question is online bullying, what about it? Let me be very direct on this one. Unfortunately, it does happen. the really hard, uncomfortable part of this conversation is that oftentimes it's your children who are the ones doing the bullying. So we always think of our children as angels who will not do this. We do address bullying with the children. We talk about it in their IT classes. We talk about it.
The homework, SEL, social emotional
Yeah.
learning.
We talk about it many levels in many places because unfortunately as children develop relationships and interpersonal skills, they do it badly sometimes and they are mean to other people and other people are mean to them. And they need to learn how to talk to other people appropriately and they also need to learn how to respond or recover if somebody says something bad to them. But unfortunately, the sad part of it is that oftentimes it's our children who are doing the bullying. And I'm not trying to be mean to you or your children. But if we're going to talk about bullying, we need to be very honest about this. We need to be very, very clear about it. So at school, we talk about this a lot. We're very active in our bullying, and we look for it. But we need your help to have these same conversations with the children at home. But I need you to have conversations with them about what to do if somebody bullies you. How do you respond to this? If somebody bullies you, if somebody says, you're a poopy head, you don't fire back to them, oh yeah, well you're something else.
You're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean,
Yeah.
this is my area. That's why I'm so interested. I'm also cautious of time.
Yeah.
Now, what stops a bully? I think empathy, and that stops a bully. I think the most important part is building that, the empathetical atmosphere that students understand, and also the bystanders understand this is wrong, and they can relate themselves to other people. That make us human beings. That separate us from other animals. I think the biggest criteria. But I think this is something that we should learn. It's not something we are born with. We are born with kindness, but this is something that actually have to go through as well. With online, sitting behind a computer, by making someone mean comments easier than say that face to face. We have different modules in the homeroom curriculum where we talk about bullying. When we talk about bullying in terms of the verbal, the social, at times, physical, we don't think physical is bullying. Physical is just plainly wrong. That's not even a bully. That's an attack. That's, but anyway, cyberbullying is one of them. It's one of the forms of it. Over the years, we do handle cases that student may start a hate group chat about someone. They might say, they might use curse words on some of the students in that group chat. Now, this is just a 21st century type of bullying. But fundamentally, what we can do is supporting the student have the understanding of not only understand my perspective, but other perspective, but also be able to be empathetic on the other side. So I think this is the most fundamentally important part. And also, with a computer being introduced to them, they need to understand when they have this, software, when they have this norm in the cyber kind of environment. What are some of their roles? What are some of their expectations to themselves and others? So this is a lots of things that they need to unpack. And I think we all play a part of it. As parents, as educators, but also at times as their peers. We need to create a very shared understanding of this topic. Then we can move forward. And we need to work collectively on this.
Yeah, I mean that's an excellent point. And one of the things that oftentimes happens with children is that they get caught up in the cyberbullying, they get caught up in the bullying. I say something about somebody else I don't like, and my friend, he joins in, and it cascades. And so we need to have the conversations with children about how to not do that and say, that's not the right behavior. We want to be understanding of the other people's feelings. But if cyberbullying does happen, and we become aware of it, we do respond. We've got some very good procedures in place through LY and his team to respond to this. There is a bit of difficulty in this because sometimes the cyberbullying goes on outside the school. In the history of my working with children and laptops, many times the cruel, mean comments happen Sunday night, sometime after 6 p.m., usually in their bedroom, and usually through social media. Now, is that a school issue or is that a home issue? Usually we work in partnership with the parents. We're not going to just throw it away. We're going to work with you guys on it. So this is something that we need to work together with. And a lot of times the children don't realize that they're being mean. They get caught up in the moment. So we do respond to that. Yes?
I'm wondering if the school has anything similar to the parental control, so that they have websites, or if some children are watching YouTube for 3 hours a week, do you send alert or anything like that?
Okay. At the school, we have firewalls that block the general things that you would expect us to block. Apple has something called parental controls built into their platform. Unfortunately, I have to ask that you do not use the parental controls in the Apple operating system. So if you start exploring and looking for parental controls and you find them in the Apple platform, please do not use them. Because what happens, you can do those things like block websites, and you can control the hours that the children work on the laptops. But the Apple parental controls doesn't work very well. And it ends up blocking them across things like Google. And they can't even get into Google Docs, and they can't use the tools that we need them to use. So at school, we have this taken care of. And at home, on the website that I'll share with you, there are some recommendations that we make for it. NetNanny, Custodio is a very good one, and a number of parents have started using the Custodio. Custodio is they have a free version, but if you really want to use it, you have to pay for it. And when you pay for it, you set up a parent-child relationship. You can set up filtering on there, and you can also set up controls. Now on this one, my sincere recommendation for you is that you do not start off by blocking it. Now I know that's going to be a hard one, because what you want to do is you want to say, right, I'm going to control what you do, and I'm going to restrict you. The more powerful way to manage this is to have a very honest, and you used the right term for it, balanced and honest, respectful conversation with your children about why you're doing why they're doing what they're doing. If you go through and you restrict it right off the bat, you set up an antagonistic relationship with your child, and the conversation shuts down. Now, if your child is having some difficulties and struggling to manage themselves, and you use Custodio or one of the other tools, you can get a log and you can see what they're doing, and you can have an informed conversation with the children and sit down and say, you know what, I can see that you were online up until 11 o'clock at night, and what were you doing? Why were you doing it? I was doing homework. Well, it says you were on YouTube. I don't think you watched 4 hours of YouTube. I don't think that was your homework. So, let's talk about what you really were doing. And if you have those conversations and you're successful with those conversations, you will have a better relationship with your child, and you'll be able to manage it. Now, I have one child where I was lucky with that, and I have one child where I was not lucky with that. And I had to do the restrictive, I had to lock down stuff. So, but I went through that process. And it was an honest conversation with my child. It didn't work. So it's like, okay, we lock it down. Simple. If you have these apps on there and you do the paid-for version on it, it can restrict the incognito version. Yeah, it's not always perfect. No system is perfect. Unfortunately, there are ways around some of these. If your child is,
to keep up with our children, because they're so good at
Yeah.
We can't keep track.
So here's the response. If my child all of a sudden goes dark, it's like, wow, you haven't used your laptop for 8 hours, and I've seen you sitting at your laptop. Something's not quite right. So what are you doing? If the behavior changes and information starts disappearing, then that's a different type of conversation. But you can have that conversation with them. Generally, it's like, sorry, you are my child. You need to use the non-incognito. If you start using it, then I have to stop. You're breaking our trust relationship. And so if you break that trust relationship, I'm going to have to lock you down. Is that what you want? So you have those conversations, and if they continue to push and they continue to break it, then you need to get much stricter and follow other procedures.
We are happy to intervene as well. We do 学校有时候也会介入，特别是在家庭和父母和孩子之间，如果在电脑的使用上有一些怎么说呢，一些冲突，甚至说这个冲突是比较严重的冲突，学校也会在特别是我们年级组里面会进行介入。Just cautious of time. As I mentioned, this won't be our only one-to-one program, and I think we opened up a very good conversation about parenting students, parenting children in the digital age. 我觉得我们今天开了一个非常好的头，这个好的头就是来讨论一些在管教、在家庭教育方面，特别是有这样一个电子设备，我们应该如何去进行管理。明年开年的刚开始的第一天，就是我上次说那个6月13号是星期一的那一天，是一个半天的家长来到学校之后呢，前面是见我和 Mark。我和 Mark 两个人呢，第一个会欢迎大家来到这个新的学年，然后跟大家讲一讲我们学生在整个学年的这几天、几星期、几周，然后这个几个月会经历哪些东西，可能我们还会介绍我们的这个年级的团队，介绍一些我们相应的这样一些人员。其中还有一项就是我们专门为我们今年的这个家长准备的，就是一开年的时候，这个 Mr. Moran 会再跟大家见面。就在那一天跟大家具体去了解，继续去探讨一下这个所谓的在管教方面的，特别是在电脑被介绍到这个家庭当中有什么样一些重要的一些事项。刚才大家可能看到我们有一个学校的response use policy， 我们也希望在家庭当中也能有一个家庭版的这样的一个 response use policy。然后在那个过程当中，我们希望能够给家庭这样的一种支持。有的时候我们发现可能还没有到那个可能马上要拿到电脑的那几天，我们很多的时候可能还没有更多的去设想。我呢，这次在我跟大家可能反馈的时候，我可能也会给大家一些资料，这些资料可能能够帮助您去设想一下，如何去更好的在有这样电脑的这样过程当中如何管教孩子。电脑是一个大趋势。对于他们这一代成长起来的孩子和我们在座的家长，我们这一代人不一样。对于他们来说，这好像就是一本书，对他们来说，这可能就是手中的画笔和画卷。他们需要能够更好的去安排自己的生活，安排自己的学习，能够把这样一个电子设备给它安排好。还是那句话，非常感谢大家。我们马上就有这个 Q&A， 而且呢 ，Mr. Moran 可能还要让大家看一下我们 ISF 的这样一个对于家长的支援的这样一个 page。Thank you so much. If you do have any questions, please stay behind. Yep. Mr. Moran has another one just showing you, please.
Yeah, so this is available to you through PowerSchool. If you click on the laptop program link in PowerSchool on the parent resources, it'll take you to this page, which has the resources for purchasing the laptop and also the parent resources page. And on this page, our presentation that I'll be giving at the start of next year, some of the information and resources available for you, and links to resources that will help you have healthy conversations with your children. And there will be links to things like Custodio later on. Okay? So this will be available to you. It's available to you right now. And thank you very much for coming. And as I said, I will be here for a few more minutes if you have any last minute questions. Thank you for coming. I look forward to seeing you again.